The college admission scandal. Celebrities headed to court today. Actresses Lori Loughlin and Felicity Huffman among a group of parents expected today before a judge. All could face harsh penalties, including tax charges, IRS payments, even jail time. Joining us right now is Fox News senior judicial analyst Andrew Napolitano. Judge, good to see you.
Good morning. So these are arraignments in federal district court in Boston, which have been going on in groups. You know, there's so many people involved in this case that the court has been bringing them in periodically, and many of them have nothing to do with Boston. Some of these people are in Los Angeles, and they're presumably in Boston now. So an arraignment is relatively uneventful, but it does, because it's basically, do you understand the charges against you, and do you understand what your bail is, which has already been set. But it does remind us of the size and complexity of this entire thing. It also reminds me that the federal government is not finished investigating, because one of the ways that the parents can lessen their exposure is by reporting others that they know that have done this, either with the same people, the Rick Singer team. I hate to call them a team because it's a criminal conspiracy. They've already pleaded guilty to it, or with others. So it's hard for me to say where this is going to go. The students have not been indicted. The schools have not been indicted. Some of the students have already been kicked out of the schools to which they were admitted. I do suspect that a lot more will come out of this.
So you're saying if they rat, these parents,
well, I guess you could use that word.
Friends.
Yeah, you know, look, here's a basic rule of thumb. Whoever goes to the prosecutor, you've got 38 teams of parents here. Whoever goes to the prosecutors first is going to get the easier deal. And whoever brings the most information to the prosecutors is going to get the easier
deal.
I do not believe that this is a jail time case for the parents. Some of them themselves were duped. It is clearly a jail time case for the people who were receiving the bribes.
But the trouble for these actresses, these famous people, these parents, is that Rick Singer was cooperating with the prosecutors, with the FBI.
Yeah, that's how they all got caught.
Right,
yeah.
So they don't really have as much to bring to the table. Like, if you can flip on the mastermind, that you probably
okay. Then let me clarify what I was saying. One of the things Singer's lawyer said as he was walking out of the courthouse when he pleaded guilty was, my client helped over 750 people. What? There's only 50 families involved in this case. Where are the other 700? So it would be flipping on people not in the case, right, or on other conspiracies that the government might be interested in knowing about and doesn't know about.
Well, how far is the government into those other 700? Are they into 10 of them? Are they into 0 of them? Are they into 700 of them?
Thus far, that's all below the radar screen, and the government reveals these things when it wants to, or when it has to, when it feels the defendant might be fleeing the jurisdiction. So we don't know the answer.
And it might not be just this one case, right? There might be other rings. There might be other networks that are are working.
Well, that's exactly what they're looking for. They believe they have everybody in the Singer network, but there probably are other people out there. You know, these are not organized like fine corporations.
It's not a monopoly.
Right. These are very loosely tied in together agreements. There may be an overlapping, or there may not.
How about the Oscar antitrust concerns that Dagan reported on the top of the show? The Justice Department reportedly warning the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences about changing Oscar rules to exclude streaming services. It says that could raise antitrust concerns. The warning is in response to reports of Steven Spielberg's proposed rule change that would prevent Netflix from competing at the Academy Awards. This comes as Netflix begins rolling out another round of price increases, each package expected to jump by $1 or $2, and also after the nomination that happened by a Netflix film, right, Dagan?
It was Roma was
yeah.
the Best Picture nominee, Alfonso Cuarón. It was released in a very limited number of theaters. What the Academy has tried to do is make Netflix and any streaming service release its movies in more theaters to qualify, because again, I guess the people who make movies aren't auteurs like Steven Spielberg.
In my view, this is a novel use of the antitrust laws, and I don't know where it's going to go. I mean, typically the purpose of antitrust is to prevent one competitor from dominating the market or pushing another competitor out. The economy doesn't compete with anybody. It's a voluntary group of people that basically just laud themselves. The competitors are are the producers of the and the studios.
You're being polite when you say novel use. I mean, the idea that a big tech company like Netflix is a victim of dominance by some other group seems a little far-fetched.
And you know what? This is from a conservative Republican Department of Justice. I might have expected this 3 or 4 years ago from the folks that ran the antitrust division in the Obama years, but
it's the way they're talking about using antitrust is not small government.
I just love the dismissiveness of Spielberg saying that the content created for Netflix, it's a TV movie.
Right.
If it's not released in a certain number of theaters, it's just, again, it's the idiot bubble of Hollyweird.
To John's comment, which is right on the mark, the best response for this would be for Netflix to kick the daylights out of these people with the way that with their business model.
By the way, I think that's what's happening.
Yes.
Right. Exactly.
That's why they're upset.
So why should the government get involved?
Right. What does the federal government care about this?
Well, and Spielberg was at that Apple announcement about its content.
That's
deal,
right.
New content that it's releasing on the TV.
Oprah was there, and Jennifer
Aniston.
Aniston.
So,
well, Dagan, it's different. They're paying him. They're steering revenues to him.
So here's the basic rule of thumb. Any contract or combination and restraint of interstate trade is illegal. It's Netflix. Is Spielberg's reaction to Netflix restraining interstate trade or enhancing it?
Like I said, The Irishman with Marty Scorsese, starring Robert De Niro and Al Pacino and Harvey Keitel and Joe Pesci, is coming out this fall. Let's see if the Academy tries to ice out Marty Scorsese. What did you say to me?
I said, "You talking to me?"
Yes, I am talking to you.
She's auditioning for a part in that movie.
Spielberg, you paint houses.
That's going to be good. That's a good cast.
I make you laugh. You think I'm funny?
You're funny, Dagan.
West by God, Virginia, I love you.
Judge, thank you.
Okay.
Andrew Napolitano there.